Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather. I've got this nice box of just about every type of leather that we currently have on our Frank the Enforcers. Before we get to that, let's take a preview of what's in the video today that we're shipping out. I have a valet tray in color number 8 shell Cordovan, a valet tray in black chrome excel, a valet tray in natural chrome excel, a vault key holder in black shell Cordovan, a one-shot card holder in color 8 reverse shell Cordovan, a one-shot card holder in black reverse shell Cordovan, a Johnny the Fox in natural shell Cordovan with a reverse interior, a Johnny the Fox in 100% English tan Dublin, a Johnny the Fox in cigar shell Cordovan with a reverse interior, and a Fat Herbie in black shell Cordovan. So I was doing some photo reshoots today of all of the different Frank the Enforcers that we have in every different leather. So I thought it'd be fun to show you a look and maybe a comparison of each of these. This is a black Dublin Frank the Enforcer here. When you compare the black Dublin to the black shell Cordovan, the Dublin is quite a bit more grainy, and this is a natural shell Cordovan here. You can see it's a little bit more flat and smooth, where the Dublin has a little bit more grain texture, which is because the shell Cordovan itself actually has no grain at all. Shell Cordovan is just a membrane underneath the skin of the animal. So the natural shell Cordovan is very nice. I thought something interesting here was I thought that the natural shell might look kind of similar to the natural chrome excel, and this is a natural chrome excel here. I actually thought this chrome excel is so nice. I thought this was actually whiskey shell Cordovan before I looked at it a little bit more closely. And here's a whiskey shell Cordovan Frank the Enforcer here. Take a look at the color difference. They're pretty similar. I'd say the natural chrome excel is slightly lighter. The whiskey is just a little bit more golden and maybe just a little darker and more brown. And here's a fun one. This is cobalt blue Dublin on our Frank the Enforcer. I love the color range in the cobalt blue Dublin. It reminds me a bit of the intense blue shell Cordovan. We have that aqua undertone and darker, more navy surface color. Take a look at this color 8 chrome excel here. And the color 8 chrome excel, just like that natural chrome excel from a second ago, the chrome excel that we've been getting from Horween is just perfectly polished and smooth, very bright and shiny. The color 8 shell Cordovan is similar. Obviously, they're the same color name. I've noticed that the chrome excel leather is a little bit more vibrant and cherry. These top ones here are the chrome excel. This is the shell Cordovan here. It's a little darker brown, a little bit less of the burgundy tones in the shell Cordovan color 8. And here's a garnet shell Cordovan Frank the Enforcer, a pair of them. The garnet shell Cordovan is the most red shell color that Horween makes. And I have a couple black marbled shell Cordovan Frank the Enforcers, and I like to show several of them at once on the marbled and the reverse shell Cordovan because the patterns are all random. This will give you a good sense here of the range of color that we see on the black marbled shell Cordovan. It sort of ranges from a black to a more forest green, all the way down to more orangey tan. And this is my favorite shell Cordovan color, the amaretto shell Cordovan. It's a really vibrant tan, a lot more orange to it. I just had a customer asking me what's the difference between amaretto and natural shell Cordovan, so let's compare those really quickly. I think they're dramatically different. So the amaretto are the top two on the screen, and the natural is the one in my hand. You can see the natural is much more yellow and neutral in color when compared to that vibrant orangey tan of the amaretto shell. So the amaretto is my favorite shell color, and I think my favorite non-shell is this English tan. It's because the English tan reminds me of the color in the amaretto, more of that vibrant orangey tan. You can see it's much more brown on the Dublin leather when compared to the shell. And here's a pair of color 8 marbled shell Cordovan on the Frank the Enforcer. Same idea here, where I like to show several of them because the marbled color 8 is all over the board. They're all random in color and texture. So you can see the range here is a little bit more from a light tan to the color 8 and everything in between. They tend to be a little bit more burgundy tan than the black marbled shells, which read more as a green. And here's that intense blue shell Cordovan, and this is a beautiful shade. I was saying that color, the cobalt blue Dublin, reminds me of the intense blue. These are the only two blue shades that I have at the moment. They both have sort of an aqua blue undertone with more of a navy, darker surface color. All right, we've got 4 black reverse shell Cordovan Frank the Enforcers here. And it's, again, there's such a range in the color. I like to show as many as I can. And this is a good representation of the black reverse range. The top here, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more blue, dark green. So we have the two darker ones on the top, and then this is the light range that we tend to see. A little bit more of a tan, still like a light green, but a little bit more yellow to it. All of these age very, very nicely. Let me show you my watch strap. My watch strap here, this is black reverse shell Cordovan on the watch strap, and I've worn it very hard. This is about as dark as you can expect the reverse shell Cordovan to age. It gets quite a bit darker, a little bit more brown actually too. All right, the last one I'm going to show you today on the Frank the Enforcer. This is a Color 8 reverse shell Cordovan. I like all the randomization in the reverse shell. Again, we have a little bit of range in color on the Color 8 reverse as well. The Color 8s read more as a reddish tan, and sometimes you get a little bit of these crazy dye marks like this one here I think is really special. What's great about the reverse is how they age, but we also have that opportunity to show off the Horween ink stamp. So I think just about every color of shell Cordovan is represented here. I know that there are many others, so let me show you one more shell color. So here's a color that was not represented in those Frank the Enforcers. This is a Cigar Shell Cordovan, Johnny the Fox, and we did a special flash sale on these last week. We made a very small batch of the Cigar Shell Cordovan, Johnny the Foxes, and check out the reverse interior. This is again from a small batch of wallets that actually sold pretty quickly, and I know that people are still interested in this one. I don't know when I'll be able to do this again, but if you're interested in picking one up, we can try to reserve the next available Cigar Shell for your wallet. And check out this valet tray in natural Chrome Excel. The Chrome Excel for the valet trays is a little bit darker than the one we saw on that Frank the Enforcer a minute ago. It's a little bit more of a brown. And take a look here. You can see in the corners where the leather has become flexed, we've sort of mobilized the waxes in the leather to reveal a little bit of those lighter undertones. That undertone color is more akin to the natural Chrome Excel Frank the Enforcer we saw earlier. We do have darker sections where the leather has not been flexed. And here's another Chrome Excel valet tray. This one is in black Chrome Excel, and I like the sleekness of the black Chrome Excel valet trays because you have black on the outside, black on the inside. All the edges are black. We've taken it a little bit of a step further and filled in the unintended flesh side of the Chrome Excel with a heavy resin finish. And that's why you're seeing a little bit of sheen and brightness to this. It's just really sealed off all the fibers on the unintended side of the Chrome Excel. And one last valet tray to show you today. This is a color number 8 shell Cordovan valet tray. So you have color 8 on the outside here. This is the part that will touch the table, and we did that to show off more of the Horween ink stamp on the inside. I have a couple one-shot card holders to send out today. These are both reverse shell Cordovan, and this is black reverse, the more greenish shade, with color 8 reverse on the right. I like the way that the reverse ages, especially in something like this that will go into your pocket. It will develop a nice little patina. The color gets darker, but the luster also develops and gets a little bit brighter and shinier. And the reverse gives us this chance to really show off more of that awesome Horween ink stamp. Each piece of shell Cordovan gets stamped one time with that Horween ink stamp, so we try to cut them into the most interesting spots when we can. And here's a black shell Cordovan vault key holder. The vault key holder is a nice little key case to hold up to 6 keys. So each of these screw posts on the right will hold about 3, maybe 4 keys, and they're standard sized keys. Sort of just a generic key when you go to the store. Any larger keys don't tend to fit very nicely. This does not fit a car key very well, but what people have done that I've enjoyed seeing is they'll use their home keys on one side, attach another key ring to the top post, and then you can attach other car keys or key fobs to the other side of the key case. And we've got one Fat Herbie going out today. This is a black shell Cordovan Fat Herbie, and I like the sleekness of the black shell. It's sort of like that black Chrome Excel valet tray I showed you a minute ago. There's something magical with how the light reflects off of the black shell. And it sort of highlights all these little curves on the Fat Herbie that I think look really, really cool. It's almost like a futuristic look from the way the light hits on the black shell. I just think that's really cool. On the inside, more black shell Cordovan. We cut a nice little Horween ink stamp right into the center. And here's a really beautiful piece of natural shell Cordovan on the Johnny the Fox. And we get that same sort of fascinating light reflection on the natural shell as we do on the black. But the natural shell is much lighter, obviously, so it tends to blast out the color. It's just something different with how the black reacts to light, which is mesmerizing to me. But this is a really bright, shiny, and smooth piece of natural shell Cordovan. Definitely a mirror-like finish, which is what you should expect out of shell Cordovan. Take a look at the inside too. This one has a really nice color 8 reverse interior. I like the randomized dye marks and the random color of the color 8 reverse interiors, but I also like the way that these wear in. Sometimes the insides of wallets can get a little bit scuffed up and scratched from the raised letters and numbers of your cards, but I like the reverse because those raised letters and numbers, when they scuff the leather, they're much more easily filled in on the reverse shell Cordovan. So I like the way that the reverse ages on the interior of the wallet, but I actually prefer the regular shell on the outside. And especially something like natural, this one will darken up and develop a really beautiful patina. All right, the last wallet to show you today, this is one of our newest offerings of wallets. This is a Johnny the Fox in 100% English tan Dublin. And for several years, we've been making the Johnny the Fox in English tan Dublin, but what is new is the interior. And this on the inside, we've now have available a English tan Dublin horsehide interior to match the English tan Dublin on the outside. This is a custom make for us from Horween. It's hard to get naturally thin pieces of leather, so we had to have Horween make us a custom leather or a tannage, just a custom run of this English tan Dublin in a thinner horsehide. To make these wallets just right. Because if we use the regular side leather, the steer hides that we use on the outside, if we use that for the interior, this leather or this wallet in total will be roughly twice the thickness. And that's because the leather for the interiors, we like to have around 2 to 3 ounces in thickness, where the exterior leather is more like 4 to 5 ounces. But I've been wearing this exact wallet, and we are shipping out at least that one today. I've been wearing this now for 63 days and documenting it every day in photographs. I've been putting those photos onto our Facebook page. So if you want to see the slow change of how the Dublin wears in, I've been documenting it there. And I think I'm going to try to do a little bit of a time lapse and edit all those images together into a video to show how it sort of morphs over time. You can see a little bit here of what is changing. I think there's 3 things that I observe. Number 1, the color is deepening and darkening. It's becoming quite a bit nicer, I think. Let's take a look at the difference here. There's just more dimension and depth to the color now. The other second thing that is very interesting is the luster. Take a look at how bright and shiny just the natural friction from wearing it has developed a luster onto the surface. It's like it's self-polishing in my pocket. And the other thing that's really interesting is because the Dublin is a veg tan leather, it's molding very nicely to my cards. So you can see here, it's sort of giving them a nice hug. Everything is held in place very nicely. So I've been really enjoying the Johnny the Fox in 100% English tan Dublin. I know several of you have picked yours up as well, and I can't wait for whoever picked this guy up to get it later this week. So thanks again for supporting us, especially with this Cigar Shell Cordovan Johnny the Fox. I was really happy and also surprised with how quickly these went. But at the same time, I get a little bit bummed out when people aren't able to get a wallet that they wanted. So I'm going to do my best to help you out. If you guys wanted to pick one of these up and you missed it, definitely let me know. But this one's going to have to be my stunner of the day for that reason, just because of the reaction to this limited run Cigar Shell Cordovan Johnny the Fox. This one's going out today along with all the others. Can't wait for you guys to have it. And until next time, I hope you have a good one.